recording. Okay, and I'm doing this from a different angle, so I apologize. I'm trying to, the glare, maybe, I don't know, the glare is just gonna be there. But
You definitely got a glare going.
yes,
sure.
I do. It's my glow. It's not a glare, it's just my glow. I'll go with that. So I was telling Beatrice earlier today, or right as we were getting on, it's been a busy day here. I got up at 6 and drove about an hour 15 to a town where my oldest daughter was doing, I think it's her second ever half marathon. And so went there and cheered her on, and then picked up a couple of groceries. I went and picked up my husband from work, and I got here about 35 minutes ago. And so I'm kind of landing here in my body. But I'm glad I took the time to make sure that all the links worked in that email. So what the recipes I sent you last week, because here at my house, we all have such different schedules. And my husband works overnight. My son just started working about a month ago at McDonald's, and he works like the 4 to midnight shift. We have just one car right now, so I'm the chauffeur, making sure people get where they need. So what I started doing was like batch type cooking, so that way they could get what they needed. And I made pretty much everything on that list last week and made containers of it. And the 2 recipes I'm going to do right now are the ones that were the biggest hits with my husband, especially. His first favorite thing was the turkey bacon, tomato and spinach frittata. Now, as Beatrice and I were just talking, she just recently got her test results back from the biome test, and tomatoes are on her avoid list. I'm actually not supposed to eat tomatoes, but it's basically because many conventionally grown tomatoes have a virus on them. And when you ingest a food, you can ingest that virus. If your body isn't producing the right bacteria, then it just won't break it down as well, and that causes inflammation. So I don't eat as many as I do, but I'm also really careful about where I source them. And there have been, so I did some research too. Again, those of you who know me know that I learned something and it's like, okay, let's find out. So I do all my research. And there actually have been in the whole gardening world problems with this particular virus with the plant. Now, nobody's really put 2, 3, and 4 together to say, hey, this could also cause a problem in your own body. So when I talk to my friends who do their gardening, or they have their farmers market, about this and where they source their seeds, if they cannot tell me for certain that they know that their seeds, because that's what ends up happening, is it infiltrates the seed and kind of gets into that genetic material. If they cannot tell me for certain that their seeds came from a place that they know this virus isn't existing, then I won't get their tomatoes. So I'm just really careful about it. And then taking the right supplements and probiotics for my body to help my body do that, to be able to break it down. So tomatoes, if you can't eat tomatoes, you can choose something else. You could try a tomatillo. You could try a pepper maybe, although peppers kind of come under that same heading. They've been having problems with that. So you know, if you know your body, try it. Tamarind is actually a really good substitute for tomatoes, and it's like a root. And so you can try that and experiment with that. Oftentimes you'll find it as a paste. And so like in a jar, find the actual root. And Etsy is a really good place to find these things, believe it or not. I've been buying a lot of things through Etsy because I like supporting small corporations and businesses. And so you could actually buy tamarind root and grow your own if you live in the right environment, because they are more temperate. Like they might do well with Judy and Sandy and Beatrice with their more southerly zones.
Tamarind also makes an excellent drink, Lynn.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Delicious. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very tasty. So there's that. Spinach, if you have oxalate issues, you know, find another leafy green. You can do arugula. Don't forget parsley and cilantro and some of those, you know, maybe wild edibles like your dandelion or the plantain leaf or nettles, whatever. So, you know, just use what you can there. Onions, if you can't do onions, leeks or shallots can be helpful. And if you can't do garlic, shallots is a good substitute. Trying to think what else. I'll be using eggs and feta cheese. If you cannot do the feta, you can actually make your own feta cheese out of almonds or some other nuts. And it's really, it's time, there's a time factor to it because you let it sit, but not your time. It takes little time for you to make it. It takes a little extra time for it to sit and get that feta cheese quality to it. I'm trying to think what else. If you do not do eggs, actually Irish moss works really well to produce that same type of a texture. I know when I was at an event with Dr. Rita Marie a few years ago, Karen made like these little omelets using Irish moss. So I'm just telling you this to say this is a recipe and this is kind of a template. And so look at it and go, okay, how can I make this mine for my body? And ask your body as you're making these things, what do you think? Will this work? So please feel free to open your mic at any point if you want to offer a suggestion or a question. Please feel free to share your video so I get to see lovely faces. Yeah, all right. So I was also sharing earlier with Beatrice, one of my new little things here. It's a cast iron skillet and it's got this ceramic inside. And I tell you, this is so easy to clean compared to most cast iron. You don't have to worry about seasoning it each time. You can actually take some soap and water and wipe it down and it wipes off really nicely. So, and yes, that is a Pamper Chef thing, but I don't care whose it was. I'm just like, wow. And it's so heavy. It's like, yep, this is going to be something that lasts for a while. All right. So if you're following along on your guide, I'm going to be starting out with the turkey bacon, feta, and spinach frittata. So I turned on my oven to 350 and I normally get my bacon, turkey bacon included through Butcher Box, but I didn't have any more. I used it when I made the last batch, so I had to actually buy this at the store. And then you want to look for something that doesn't have nitrates and all of that extra stuff. So that's what I have here. And I know most of the time in these recipes, you know, you cook it first and then crumble it or whatever. I personally like to chop it up first and then kind of stir fry cook it. So if you guys have a, how would you cook your bacon, turkey bacon or otherwise? Do you cook bacon? Do you eat bacon, I should say? That's my question for you.
I just fry it in a pan, but I've heard people do well with putting it in the oven.
I have, yeah, when I have a lot to do, I will put it in the oven. I used to be the cook at a theater camp out in the Black Hills. So I had about 100 kids and I was the only cook. They didn't tell me that when I accepted the position. But that was what I would do. I had these big pans and put my parchment paper on and I just line up the bacon and put it in the oven. And it was really nice. But that was also for just whole bacon, you know, like bacon strips. But I know with this one here, I'm going to be crumbling it up. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna chop it up ahead of time.
Okay, I'll put my 2 cents in. Hi, it's Sandy.
Hey, Sandy.
When
Hello.
I used to make that turkey bacon, I would get a long rectangular glass pan, and then I would, you know, put it in there, and then put it in the oven for however long it took to either be, you know, either be crisp. Some people like it crisp, or to be not crisp. And
Well,
then,
and turkey bacon doesn't get as crisp, I find.
no, it doesn't. I think if you fried it in like an oil, it would. I think.
Yeah.
But I've never done that.
Yeah.
So let's see what else you were saying. There were 2 more things. So I like your idea of using, I love Irish moss, and I made a big batch, and I like your idea of using it for an egg substitute, because I'm not eating eggs right now. I'm
Sure.
not eating eggs and I'm not eating nuts. So, but I can eat seeds. So I'm going to be, you know, cleaning and dehydrating and so forth my seeds. And then I'm going to use that instead of nuts and see how things come out.
Literally. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, good. Thank you. So Irish moss, do you think it can be cooked? Some people say not to cook it.
If she cooked the little omelet things in the pan. If you don't want to cook them, you could dehydrate them.
Right. I'm not sure yet. I'll see. I'll see. So let's see. There was one other thing you said. Now I don't remember. There were 3 things I was going to talk about.
Okay.
But anyway, if I remember, I will come back.
Okay. So, like I said, I knew I was going to be crumbling this, because when you put it in the frittata, you know, you wanted like in bite-sized type pieces for people to eat. And just so you know, Sandy, when I first did my Viome test, eggs were on the no list, the avoid list, because there was some signs in my body showing up that would affect my cardiovascular system. And it was because of the choline. And there were signs that my body had a metabolic syndrome problem, which on my blood test before had also shown. So it didn't surprise me. But by following their food recommendations, as well as taking some of their supplement suggestions, I did my second test a year later, and I was no longer in the red zone, I was in the green zone as far as the TMAO factor with my cardiovascular system. So exactly showed up on either my, I think the egg whites are on my superfood and the egg yolks are on my enjoy. So that was really lovely. I don't eat a lot of eggs, but sometimes it's just like my body goes, you need an egg. Oh, okay. And oftentimes what I'll do is I will first put a little coconut oil in a pan and then maybe stir fry up some chopped kale. And then I'll crack an egg and put that on top of it. And that I find very satisfying. Okay. Also interesting, I was supposed to minimize my onions before, and now I can enjoy them, which also made me happy. So now I'm gonna chop up an onion. I'm just doing things to get ready. Actually, what I like to do before I do any of this is get everything ready before I actually start cooking. But cast iron takes a little bit longer to get the heat going, but once it gets in there, it retains it really well. So I wanted to start this first and get that part going. Plus I'm gonna put the bacon in on some paper towel. There's not a lot of fat in turkey bacon, so it's not going to shrink or get all greasy like a pork bacon, because you lose most of it. And I really don't do pork, so and I don't say that loud around here because we're like the pork capital of the world, I think. I'm surrounded by hog confinement farmers. Anyway, so if I do eat meat, it's usually a poultry or fish.
I remembered the third thing I was going to say.
Yes.
I haven't been eating too many tomatoes either because of blood sugar. So recently I started doing both fruit, mostly frozen fruit, and tomatoes, fresh, this is separate things.
Okay.
Fresh tomatoes. And I've been making them like I make my yogurt and dehydrating them. And now I can eat all that stuff. It's very exciting.
So you ferment the tomatoes?
I don't. I
Oh.
cook. Oh, the other part to this that's important, there's two parts to
Okay.
it. One is cooking those things
Mm-hmm.
because this is all from Steph. Steph told us that there's yeast. I have to be careful about yeast and, different stuff on the skins of the tomatoes and the fruit. Tomatoes are fruit. So anyway, what I do is I cook, let's just say tomatoes. I cook it all up. Tomatoes I have to cook a little longer because they have so much juice. And the first time I didn't do that, I had too much juice. So I cook it up till it's thicker, or it has some juice. And I put it in, let it cool, put it in the blender. And then either you add liquid or you don't if you need it. And then add the probiotic, blend for short, 10 seconds, and then put it in I put it in a glass bowl, and then I put it in the dehydrator, and it's just beautiful.
Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You cook up your tomatoes,
Yes.
and do you cook it down enough so that there's no liquid or very little liquid?
I cook it down so there's enough liquid to make the desired consistency I want.
Okay, and did you say you blend it?
Yes. Then I blend it.
With
Then I
just the
blend it.
tomatoes, just like
Just-
this?
Just the tomatoes and the water, or whatever liquid you'd want.
Right,
And then I add the amount of probiotic I want. And then I let it, well, first let it cool before you put it in the blender. And then you
Oh, yeah.
blend it all up, put it in a glass bowl, put it in the dehydrator.
And so you, just to help with the fermentation process.
Yeah, correct. Takes the sugar out, because the bacteria eats the sugar.
Right.
And it's been really great. So I've been making tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce for myself.
Nice.
It's been great. Now you do the same thing with the fruit, frozen fruit, or I have a Fuji apple tree here. So I thought, oh, I'll try that. So I did. And I did have to add more water to that. And I had to dehydrate it for a long, long time, like I think 12 hours, because it just kept being sweet. Now, when I did,
Yeah.
let's see, I did raspberries first, fresh raspberries, and that was good, except they have seeds, even though I strain them. It was okay though. Then
Yeah.
I've done blueberries, frozen blueberries, and that was good. And then I did some peaches. Well, the peaches, see, I've been adding some coconut sugar to it, and I probably added some sunflower lecithin and coconut oil. Well, the peaches had to ferment for a long time because they wouldn't get sweet. So, the fruit has enough sugar that I don't
I
need
was
to
gonna
add
say,
anything.
yeah.
I think I did it to the tomato sauce the very first time through. Anyway, now I'm not doing that, and it's better.
Oh,
So
so
it's always trial and error.
isn't it? And that's kind of what I'm trying to share here too. The other thing too, that in listening to you talk here, you often will hear me talk about being prepared. And especially right now, those of you in California probably are more than aware of all of the issues with the cargo ships and lack of truckers and other things like that. And so there have been talks of things like food shortages and access to the food. And so doing things like what you're talking about, putting food up, it's an important thing to do. One, it's going to affect your pocketbook because it's cheaper to do things on your own, to actually use ingredients and not always. I have nothing against restaurants or fast food. My son, like I said, works at McDonald's. But, if you have a budget or if you're working with a budget, one of the easiest, most flexible ways to take care of things is.
Well, McDonald's is cheap. Not only is it not nutritious, but
Yeah, well, I was gonna say.
that's why all the kids and everybody and adults go to those fast food places, because it's cheap and it's fast.
It's cheap, fast, and you have to eat a lot of it because.
Oh, really?
It doesn't. Oh, yeah, it doesn't fill you up. Yeah, that's you can have one hamburger and go, I'm still feeling kind of hungry.
Well, they eat French fries with it, and
Sure.
a bun and French fries, the hamburger. Yeah, the hamburger's
Yeah.
hungry.
But it's just like empty calories.
Yeah, right.
At least that's kind of my experience. Anyway, so, but I'm just saying I don't have anything against it if it's an occasional thing or you're in that spot. But we just don't know.
Occasional's okay.
Yeah, we just don't know. So it's good to be prepared. And that's
Well,
why
I think there's definitely a food shortage. I go to these stores and I can't get things. One time I'll get it, the next time gone.
Yep, and exactly. It's definitely the same way here. We live kind of in a food wasteland anyway. All right, so I have kind of cooked up, sauteed up, whatever you want to call it, this bacon. Turkey bacon, you're not going to get all that fat and everything like you do with regular bacon. I'm just going to show you here. It still smells pretty good though.
Yeah, I think it's good. tastes good.
We have Tracy Carney joining us, and she's from the UK. I just saw her come in. Welcome, Tracy. Feel free to unmute yourself, put yourself on camera, all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. So, and a lot of people will start cooking like their onions and stuff in the bacon fats, but there's like no bacon fat here. So I'm gonna put a little coconut oil. I know a lot of people will use olive oil, but olive oil is really not good for cooking. It's because its heat point is it's so low that it's just not good. It's good for drizzling. You know, if you ever think about it, if you go to like a Mediterranean restaurant, they'll have the little pots with the oil, so you could dip your bread or whatever in. But really, coconut oil is better for cooking in. I need to get more. And it's chilly enough here that it's pretty congealed. So what I'm gonna do now is cook up the onions. And I have some spinach. I'm gonna chop up some tomatoes. And like, as you do this, you'll see the tomatoes releasing its liquid, as Sandy was saying earlier. Yeah, it's chilly here. It doesn't want to give up the ghost, this coconut oil. What do you guys cook with as far as the cooking oil? Feel free to speak. Don't bite.
Me, practically never cooking anything on the stove. I'm a minimalist as far as cooking, so I'm not
Okay.
the one to ask.
Well-
I mostly do water saute.
Water saute?
Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
mostly do. And then if I'm gonna do something with oil, it's coconut oil. And
Yeah.
also, you know, if I'm gonna put oil on something, I like to do it after it's cooked.
Well, that's
But, you
what I
know,
do with
but
the
so
olive
that's-
oil.
Pardon?
That's what I do with the olive oil, or like an
Right,
avocado oil.
right.
But water, that's a really great point. Water sauteing is fine too. Yeah. Definitely. I did want to say, if anybody ever wants to schedule some time just to have like some one-on-one chef time, and I can be there while you're making your food, just email me and let me know. Because like I said, everybody's food preferences or needs may be different. I'm back. And I'm done again. What's everybody's weather like there?
San Jose,
saying
San
autumn?
Jose, California, San Jose, California is yesterday and today gorgeous. It'll be like early 80s in the afternoon.
Oh.
It was 70s later morning. You know, we don't know what rain is anymore. It never rains.
Oh, we've been having rain and wind these last couple of weeks. The farmers are not exactly happy about that.
No, we've had wind though. Lot
Oh.
of wind, lot of wind.
Where are you in
wondering-
California, Sandy?
San Jose, Northern
Oh,
California.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm down in Orange, the city of Orange, in Orange County, just south of LA. And it's 90 degrees outside and bright and sunny here.
Wow.
Though the rest of the week it's supposed to get cooler. We'll be in the 70s for most of this week.
Okay.
In Florida, it's muggy, which means it's
All
normal.
right. We have reached our high today of 60. This morning it was like 35 when I first got up. So yeah, it's a little chilly here. Which is why I chose some of the dishes I did, because I'm thinking, all right, it's getting cooler, and maybe that's not so true. But again, there are seasonal foods, according to Chinese medicine, to also consider, no matter where you live. And those foods tend to be more of the fermented type, like olives and things, as well as salty. And bacon fits in with that. So that's something to consider. But again, it comes down to where do you live, what's in your area to eat, and what can you eat, and what can you make and be prepared to have ahead of time. I did a blog post recently on my feedingyourhealth.com site where I talked about how to still eat healthy even though you're super busy. And these tips that I gave in that blog post pertain even if you're not super busy, but they're just good ways to be prepared. Using the tools that you have. So like if you have a slow cooker or an instant pot, or I have my Pampered Chef quick cooker, but you use them to have things prepared. So you've heard me talking about always having like brown rice is a superfood for me. So having a pot of brown rice that I've cooked up, and I'll either put in the freezer or in the refrigerator. Same thing with my beans or legumes. Lentils, pinto beans, things like that are things I usually have made up ahead of time and either keep it in the freezer or refrigerator, or both. Canned foods are the same thing. Even though they're still a little bit processed, it's still better to have, especially if you're going to use a BPA-free can, you have some of those on hand, because you just never know, whether it be through the weather, economic conditions, what's going on, and then you'll still have something on hand for food to make a meal that's healthier for you. So what kind of things do you guys do to be prepared? Y'all are quiet today. At least around here, it's harvest season. So everybody's, thinking harvest, putting up, reaping the bounty of their garden.
So I do a lot of what you do, Lynn, and I know we do this very similar thing from talking in the past. also I will oftentimes, well, I think I'm gonna make something, you know, like I have about 8 cups of greens right now. And I kept thinking every day I'm gonna get to it. No, no. So yesterday I finally got to starting it. So what I'm trying to say is I'll get things all chopped up. Then when I'm ready to make it, it's all done.
Perfect. Yep.
The thing I do with yogurt that's very helpful is I will cook up the vegetables. This is for vegetable yogurt. I'll cook up the vegetables and then I'll put them in jars, measure them out, put them in the jars and put them in the freezer. Then when I'm ready to make whatever yogurt I want, I feel like
Oh,
I have it frozen.
Yeah.
I take it out and thaw it.
yeah, you're that much closer to doing it. And then it's not quite so daunting. Oh, I've got to do this and I've got that.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So I do that kind of stuff a lot.
Perfect. That's great. What do you do with your greens? Are you just talking eating the greens or?
Well, what I had 2 different recipes and I'm putting both of them together. One is called herb and greens frittata. And then
Oh.
the other one is called, they're both eggs, but now I'm not eating eggs. So okay, I'll tell you in a minute. And then the other one is shashuka, and it's no tomatoes in it. It's all greens. And shashuka is it's either tomato sauce and greens, or this one's a bunch of greens, and then you put the egg on top. But
Okay.
anyway, what I'm beginning with is I put all the greens in the Instant Pot, and I'm gonna do the water saute. Then I'm gonna put some different spices. I have a whole bunch of spices to put on them. And then I'll make Nick a frittata out of it. And then I might play with Irish moss, or I was gonna do something with the flaxseed gel. Or
Okay.
I'll just eat them the way they are. I don't know yet. But that's another thing I do. That's another thing I do. I will cook up a whole bunch of vegetables or steam a whole bunch and then do like 3 different things with them.
You
So
know,
that's a time saver.
yeah.
That's a big time saver.
So what I sometimes do with my superfoods, so like brown rice is a superfood for me, pinto beans are a superfood, salmon is a superfood, and broccoli is a superfood. Olives are a superfood. So what I will do is I will cook up this pot of brown rice and pinto beans, and then in the morning and then I also cook up the salmon ahead of time, and I'll have my broccoli and everything all chopped up, and so then like in the morning all I have to do is take out the rice, the beans, the salmon and the broccoli and make my breakfast, and then I might throw some olives on top of that. And yeah, that's my breakfast.
Sounds
So
good.
again, it's finding out what foods work for you and how to have fun with it, how to be creative with that. Because I'm a breakfast person. Just putting it out there. I'm more
You're a broccoli person?
breakfast.
A breakfast person.
Yes. All right, so I know you can't see very well there. So this is, let's see if you can see. So this is what I'm doing. Sorry. Someday I'll get real fancy and have all that stuff I need to do this. So this is the spinach, and you can see maybe in here the tomatoes, and then the onions were cooked, and so I'm just getting the spinach a little wilty. I don't want it too wilty, but just enough.
And then over here, you can kind of see the bacon. So it's all cut up and ready. It's hard to crumble because it just does not get crispy, that turkey bacon. So, and you know, you could actually make coconut bacon or eggplant bacon. I did a kitchen show with Dr. Rita Marie one time on preparedness, and I made coconut bacon and eggplant bacon, and it would serve the same purpose. So,
I tried it. I couldn't get it to work. But your
oh, I
bacon,
dehydrated mine.
I don't know if what I did. I think, yeah, I did. But your turkey bacon, you could just chop it up in little pieces, right?
Yeah, I did that. That's what I did first, and then I sauteed it up in my skillet
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay.
Yep. And then it does leave a little bit of leavings. And so as I cooked, I didn't take that out. I just put the coconut oil in. And then as I cook up this tomato and onions and spinach, then that's, yeah. You know, it's all ready. So I'm gonna get my eggs ready here to put in there. Show off another. So I actually got this one of, and again, I'm not just doing Pampered Chef promotions, but when you're a consultant, sometimes throughout the year, they'll send you a box with stuff in it. And this is one of the things they sent. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of cute. I like this. So I'm going to put my eggs in here. And there's 12 eggs. Now again, this is part of my batch cooking. And although I'll be honest, this was my husband's favorite thing this week. And I think it lasted maybe 2 or 3 days because he ate a lot of it. I had some too. It was tasty. So, as it gets colder here, my chickens do not lay very many eggs. So I do have to resort from time to time to getting eggs from the store. So, and I do my best to make sure they're free range or cage free or whatever. I do have some friends who sell them, but like me, their chickens are not as prolific. In case you didn't know it, chickens are affected by the light, and so as well as the temperature outside. And so during these colder months where there's less light, they produce very little or almost no eggs. So that's why you'll often see, and we have a light out there, it still doesn't, it's probably why we get an egg or two here or there out of the 7 or 8 chickens we have out there. The other thing too is chickens eat their eggs. And mine are all hens, so there's no fertilization involved. But when I learned that, I was like, oh, I suddenly didn't feel so bad because the chickens, if the eggs are not taken, they will eat the eggs. So I thought that was interesting. Now, a frittata is something you don't just have to have for breakfast. You can have it whenever you want. Okay, so I got that in there. Where's my whisk? A whisk. Now, you guys are probably very adept at whisking, but in case you're out of practice, it's all in the wrist. You don't want it to, because when I work with my kids, they're like, and the food's going everywhere. So you just want a little mild thing here, and it's in your wrist. So it's, you know, you just go like this. And I don't know if I can, I don't want to spill it, but let's see here. See me do it. There we go, maybe. Anyway, so that's just a little something I wanted to share. Y'all are probably very adept at using a whisk. Wood whisk can be hard to find. Yes, this is a Pampered Chef whisk. I have used other whisks, and the little wires end up getting everywhere. And I've actually had this whisk for probably 10 years. And so you just whisk till it's all blended. There's not as much of the egg white separation. You know what that means. Because when you're whisking, you'll see here again. So as you can, I don't know if you can see that or not. So there's parts where the egg yolk is and part where the egg white is. And you want to get them as combined as possible. Again, if you're going to be using a flax egg or Irish moss, it's going to be a different procedure. As you know, you still want to get it all liquidy and anything like that. So now I am going to they just got this at our local store, and I thought, well, I'll try it, support them. It's called Ripple. It's dairy free. It's made with a pea protein. So I don't know, I'll try it. And like I said, I want to support them in their effort to provide things for people. I do my best to educate them because they're really not familiar with a lot of these foods. And so, yeah, and I live here. I gotta see these people. So I'm going to put about a cup of this in here. I also often, as part of my weekly preparation, will make my own, like almond milk, coconut almond milk. I've made hazelnut milk. Sandy, I have made pumpkin seed milk. So, you know, any of them you can make whatever version of a plant-based.
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I've made pumpkin seed milk many times. I like it. So that's a good
Yeah, I do
reminder.
too.
That's a
Yeah.
good reminder.
Pumpkin seed yogurt I've done, it doesn't have the same sugar content. So like you said, I had to add a little bit more. Coconut sugar wasn't as available, but I did have not Rapidur, Sucanut. So I had used that. And feta cheese, okay, again, food wasteland here. This is not, even though it says traditional, I see nothing on here that says it's goat milk. It just says pasteurized part skim milk. So anyway, but whatever you can get, if you're in a place that like a Trader Joe's or something, you probably can get the real stuff. Do not get the crumbles though, because they use cellulose in there. And that is not good for your gut, your blood sugar, or anything. So, because you'll see where it's already crumbled. And that, while it sounds convenient, may not be so good for your health and digestion. So it comes out like a block. It looks a little bit like a hard tofu, if you're not familiar with feta. And so I'm just gonna take about half of it.
That reminds me, have you heard of pumfu? It's like a tofu that's made out of pumpkin seeds.
No,
It's very good.
where do you get that?
Well, maybe you can get it online, but I found it at Whole Foods once, and then it was gone. But so I have to drive about an hour and a half to another health food store that has it. But maybe you
Yeah,
can
Whole
get it on-
Foods is about 3 hours away from me.
Well, check online, see if they have it.
Yeah.
Pumfu,
what's-
Pumfu. You would like it. Then do-
PUMFU.
Yeah, pumfu. Yeah,
I will.
I like it.
No, it sounds
And you
delightful.
can, you can cube it up just like tofu and it doesn't, have a taste, so you can do anything with it. Yeah,
Right?
you'll like it.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Not, some people do fine with soy. I use a little soy now and then. And my mom was actually having some estrogen issues, and she needed soy to increase her estrogen. So I gave her some ideas. All right, so I put the cheese in, and I have some scallions. I'm gonna use. For this part, I'm not gonna use the really green part. If you do hamama, they are having a green onion sale. So you can grow your own green onions. You know who you're familiar with hamama, right?
No.
Okay, because I know Dr. Rita Marie talked about hamama. That's the one where it's like the seed sheets and for sprouts. And you just put them in like a tray or something, and you sprinkle them with water, and in a couple days you have sprouts. So, or you can do wheatgrass, you can do all sorts, alfalfa sprouts, broccoli sprouts, things like that. But they're now, and they've done garlic scapes, and now their green onion seed bed things are ready. So anyway, I'm gonna chop up these green onions and put it in with the eggs. I'm not cooking them. And what I'm gonna end up doing is putting this whole mixture into the tomato, onion, and spinach mixture on the stove. And then actually, I've shut my heat off because everything was cooked to my specifications. And I'm actually going to put it in the oven for close to an hour. And when you check it like at about 45, 50 minutes, and just, kind of shake it, because otherwise it will get, you want to make sure it's cooked, well cooked in the middle. And then also just take, kind of like when you test a cake that you baked, if you remember those days when you baked cakes, to make sure it doesn't come out with anything on it. And then I like to chop these up And you can dehydrate them if you want to, but they're chives basically. And use them that way. And then you could also put whatever seasonings you want in the egg mixture. Basically, because my husband eats a lot of this, I'm just doing some salt and pepper because he's not a big, he likes some seasonings. Pink Himalayan salt. I have had that, what's it called, Majak? It's a black salt, and it has a really unique flavor to it.
And what's the black salt called and where do you buy it? I've heard of it.
Ajak,
Ajax?
Najak, I believe is the name of it.
Oh,
It's a pepper. It's a pepper.
oh,
No,
it's
is it a pepper or a salt?
I thought you said black salt.
Yeah, I think, see, it's, I can't find it around here and I had to order it online the last time, but I think it's salt. I'm pretty sure it's a salt. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it's salt.
You know, there's it's not Anne Marie. Who's the person who has some of those really nice olive oils? That's where I first heard about it. I can't remember right offhand. Okay, so I just poured the egg mixture in with the spinach, tomatoes, onions, and now I poured the egg mixture in there and then the bacon. And I just kind of stirred it up a little bit, put it in, and I'm gonna put it in the skillet, but I'll bring you over here so you can see what it looks like. And now I'm gonna put it in the oven. And so while that's going, I gotta set my timer. I'm gonna quickly go over the chicken vegetable soup because it really doesn't take that long. It's just letting it cook for a while that, well, at least I like to have it cook. It's also something you could put in a crock pot or some other long cooking device you might have. Okay. And it's a chicken vegetable soup. Again, you can use whatever you want instead of chicken. You could use tempeh. Portobello mushrooms might be good. So you're just going to adjust cooking time on those things. And so I've got my cooking pot and which is not, it's one of my older pots. It's not a Pampered Chef pot. So I'm going to put, you can water saute this if you want. I am putting a little bit of coconut oil in here. And I'm gonna, again, put in some onion and garlic. I just happen to really like using my knife to chop onions. However, for ease, you may want to use a chopper like the one that Pampered Chef sells, or whichever brand you might find. Oh, I have my onions over here already. Put it on that. Any questions so far? Any ideas or thoughts coming up for you of things you might do? How about you, Judy? I know you said you're kind of a minimalist in the kitchen. Is this giving you any ideas of things you could do? Or might want to do? How about you, VJ? Tracy?
They're very quiet. They're probably busy doing something else.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm doing other things. I'm cooking with you. I'm cooking the greens.
There you go.
Yes, it's fun cooking with you.
Yeah, no, I have my greens all cut up and prepared. That's one of the things I do ahead of time is cut up the veggies for like a salad. Some of them I just put right in there. Some I don't, like tomatoes and cucumbers, because they're wet and all that stuff. So yeah. And these are, again, are things just to have on hand. I made my turkey black bean chili the other day in my crock pot. That's in there. I made a roasted broccoli chicken salad. That's in there. The tuna fish, that's in there, which you could actually just eat on its own. I know my husband's like, wait, we don't put this on bread. I said, well, you can, or in a wrap, or in a lettuce, or but you can just eat it on its own. I actually brought the chicken broccoli salad and the tuna salad to some friends of ours who were laid up with COVID pretty bad. And she sent me a thank you note, because there was a group of us from church that everybody brought something on a separate day, and she goes, thank you so much for bringing me fresh fruit or fresh food, because generally people bring like a hot dish or casserole or whatever you want to call it, and usually there's like pasta or tater tots or something else like that. And I was sitting here thinking, well, first of all, when I'm sick, I don't like to eat a lot. And I mentioned that to some of the ladies, and they're like, oh, no, they need to eat. I'm like, well, it's probably better if they don't. Because then your body, if you're sick, it's not that you shouldn't eat at all. Well, you can do that. But the idea is to give your body a chance to rest and not spend time having to digest. And that takes the effort away from it. So,
Yeah, I really believe that. I know it's hard to do, and we're programmed not to do it, but I think that's really a good idea. Do the church people like your food?
well, apparently she sent me a thank you note saying thank you for
I mean,
it.
the other ones too.
Oh,
The other people.
I don't always have to make a lot of what I make because they eat some of it, which is fine. I'm just educating them little by little, and that's fine. That's just, this is part of it. If you're in Kimberly Ward or Laura Fine's community, we talk a lot about conscious eating and emotional eating. And honestly, you can eat
the best diet out there, but if your emotional state, you know, if part of you is like, oh, I have to eat this because I know it's good for me, you're not going to get the benefit out of those plants or that food. Because this is partly my thinking. They, you know, they're living beings. They have their own vibration, their own consciousness, and they know when they're not really being accepted. So the vibration level is a little less. And because, you know, we all talk about knowing our purpose, and I think on some level, plants know this is their purpose. And when they're ready, they're like, okay, we're here to help you. Here we are, eat us. I think when they're not ready is when they're like, no, don't eat me now. But if you,
That's good.
I know,
That's
it's
good.
crazy. But
That's good.
if they know that you're not really loving it, I feel like it brings their vibration down a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you don't get that benefit. Your body doesn't receive it real well. Your digestion is probably off. And yeah, I made some more of the egg dish again,
Oh, thank you, dear.
and I'm making the soup.
You are the best cook.
It's so funny.
They could do that.
I'm sure they could hear that.
Boy,
Anyway, so I've got
Yes,
the
we heard
onion in
that.
there. Huh?
I said, yes, we heard that.
Yes, we heard that. Thank you, Judy.
I'm keeping it PG.
Alrighty, so now I'm gonna take some garlic cloves. Again, if you can eat garlic, great. If you can kind of eat it, just maybe use one or two. If you can't eat garlic, consider using shallots. Generally, the issue with garlic is the allicin in the middle, and that is reduced when you cook it. So it's not as problematic. Just something to consider. Of course, those of you in the 90-degree humid, muggy weather area are probably going, yeah, not really caring about eating hot soup right now. But this is one of those things, again, you can make and freeze. So I don't know what your cooler weather is out there, but should it get a little cooler, then you have something you can just take out.
Actually, I was considering making some kind of soup today, even though it's 90 here today. It's going to be cooler the rest of the week.
Okay,
70-ish.
okay.
So I can
So
do some.
cooler, 70-ish is cooler? Well, it is cooler.
It is. They make big fusses about minute changes in temperature here because we get so little difference. It's a big event in say January when the overnight temperatures get down below 40, and oh my God, the orange trees might freeze.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see where that could be a problem. Well, you know, we listen here for, you know, when we're gonna get a freeze. So the last week or so, you know, it's gonna overnight it'll freeze, and so everybody goes out and covers their rose bushes or puts blankets, or we actually put blankets over our gardens. And kind of hard to do that on an orange tree, but yeah, it's all kind of the same. Because I know there have been times when that, those freezes have really hurt oranges, whether it be Florida or California. So what kind of soup would you make, Judy?
Well, I've got various things in the freezer that I need to use up that have been in there a while. I've got frozen veggies and whatnot. I'm thinking about browning up some ground beef
There you go.
because it needs to be used too. It's, I mean, it's healthy, low fat,
Sure.
pasture,
Oh, yeah.
good ground beef as far as ground beef goes.
Sure. I've got
And,
ground beef like that in my freezer.
yeah, so then I've got, various frozen veggies and whatnot, and potatoes that need to get used. And so
There you
I'll
go.
just kind of wing it as I go. Can
There
of,
you go. Well,
can of
kitchen
whole
soup is
tomatoes.
the best.
Put up.
Kitchen soup is the best. Or kitchen sink soup, that's what I have to say.
Yep.
I have
that's
this,
what it'll be.
whoops, sorry. Go ahead, Judy.
I just gonna say, yeah, that's what it would be. Go ahead, Sandy.
I have, if any of you eat chicken, I have this, I haven't done it yet because I have some chicken in my freezer. But if you use the code edible, you get a free chicken with your first order at pasturebird.com.
Pasturebird.com.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I mean, I've never
I
used one.
haven't either.
Yeah, so if you wanna, try them out, I'm gonna try them out.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've been using ButcherBox, but thank you. I'm gonna take a look at that.
So healthy raised chicken is pasture bird.
Pardon?
Pasture bird is healthy
Healthy
raised.
It's clean chicken. It says truly pasture raised with fresh air and sunshine. Chickens forage for grasses, seeds, bugs, and grains, never given drugs or antibiotics ever. Rotational grazing rebuilds healthy, regenerative soils. Use code edible, EDIBLE, for free chicken with your first order at pasturebird.com. PASTUREBIRD.com.
Where are they out of?
That's a good question. They don't say, so we'd have to go, it says California.
Okay. Do they ship across the country?
I don't know. I would think so. I like unusual meat, and I grew up with a lot of it, and so I really like beef tongue. And I haven't been I haven't been able to find it anywhere. And so I went online, and the first one that came up, I think it's called US Wellness. Let's see. Anyway, the price wasn't outrageous, and I think probably the same or less than what I pay around here when I find it. And so I got 3 of them because I got a better price, and I got 3 of them. They're all about 2-3 pounds. They're beautiful. And that's uswellnessmeats.com. And they have a phone number too. They have a phone number too, also. Do you guys want the phone number? They're in. They're in. They're in.
You could, in the event page, can you put all those different links on there?
Where's the event page?
On the Facebook event page.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
where you told me I forgot to put the link for the rest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can post it there. I can post all this there, or I might take a picture and post that.
Perfect.
Yeah, I will. I think I'm going to be very happy. US Wellness Meats, where I got the tongue, doesn't look like they have a lot of other things, at least on the website, but let me see. They sent me this brochure. They have pork. I don't eat pork either
I don't, yeah.
because of parasites.
Yeah, well,
Oh, they,
Yeah, that too.
they have grass-fed beef. That wasn't on the website I was looking at, maybe because I was Googling beef tongue. So let's see, they have grass-fed beef. Very good. And their price, of course, no, I don't think I paid any shipping. They have patties. They have pet burger. Oh, that's patties, package, pet burger. Huh. Steak, chuck roast, ground sirloin, petite. I love brisket. They have brisket.
Oh, yeah.
They have all kinds of things. So this,
Have
they have
Brisket
some
and cabbage.
Pardon?
Your brisket and cabbage.
Oh, yeah. They have seafood. Some
Oh, okay.
seafood. They have some seafood, wild caught.
Yep.
Grass-fed bison. I like bison.
Yeah, I've got some ground bison in my freezer too. Now, I put some ground chicken in here just now.
Okay, I'll
So
stop talking
you
so you
use
can.
bison, you can use whatever.
Okay, this is great. It made me look at this. They're in Missouri.
You're in Missouri, okay.
Good. Okay.
I'm only one state over from Missouri.
I know, you're close. You take a trip over.
They're at the other end of the state. I'm on the north end. I'm closer to Minnesota. And the
Okay,
other thing too is finding people close to you, like local farmers and.
Yeah. Well, someday I'm gonna come visit all that area and visit you because I've never been there.
Oh, Dubuque is cool.
Yeah.
My daughter lives in Iowa City right now. She's going to college there.
How far are you from Kentucky?
Well, let's see. I'm 7 hours from Champaign, Illinois. So I would say probably 10 hours,
Okay.
10, 12 hours.
Oh, I just heard about this really wild, interesting sounding place in Kentucky. They're kind of known for it now. And it's like a Christian amusement park, Bible amusement park. Have you heard of that?
What?
Have you heard of it?
No.
I'll put that in
And
there
this-
too.
Yeah, and this is-
I gotta get my literature out to tell you the name of it because I don't remember. It starts with a C. They have two different places. It just sounds fascinating. A group is going there. I would love to go with them, but I'm not ready to travel yet.
Well, I've done a little traveling, but I drive. I don't fly.
Yeah, well, I mean flying.
Yeah, no. There's a few things that have to change before I'll fly again.
Well, I'm going to become a free American first, and then I can just go to the airport with my passport, and it says, "Do
Let
not
me know how that
detain,
works.
do not detain this person." So
You let me know how that works.
yeah,
I
I will.
don't have too many reasons. Well, I have a few reasons to travel. So like next week, and my husband's going out to the Salt Lake area
Oh,
for my son and his wife's, their daughter is having a baby blessing. I just need to stay here because I have to drive my son to school and work because he doesn't have his license at the moment. And, which is fine.
when you cook up, I had probably more than 8 cups. I mean, 8 cups.
Oh, of your greens?
10 cups. Yeah, they just, I know they go down, but oh my God, they went down so much.
So what kind of greens do you have there?
Oh boy. I have some green beet greens, not the red ones, the green ones. The red ones went dead. And then
Okay.
I had baby kale and spinach and parsley. Was there anything else? There might be something else.
I'm chopping up a couple of the celery stalks right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of doing what Judy
Oh,
was talking about.
cilantro. Some
Okay.
cilantro in there. I think that's all the greens.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. It sounds excellente.
I can still make an omelet out of some of it for Nick.
You know, maybe this is what we'll do next month. I mean, I'll still send my recipes and stuff, but y'all come ready to cook whatever it is you want to cook.
That
And
sounds great, yeah.
we can ask each other questions while we're doing it.
Oh,
You know, they have those programs where you go in and they do, you know, like they're once a month cooking or something, and everybody goes in and does it.
I would have to have everything all chopped up first and all prepared and everything.
Well, I'm really trying, that was my main objection this time, was to do that, but then I found out about my daughter's race.
I know you couldn't.
But you know, that's real life, isn't it? It's like, okay,
Yes, yeah,
this happens and we'll do
it
this.
happens.
Yeah,
You have to roll with it, yeah.
we
I-
do.
We have to, yeah.
Supporting her was important.
Yes, it was. So, I mean, different chefs have, like Karen Osborne, and in the beginning, Steph was gonna do it where we all cooked along. But for me, especially, well, Karen Osborne, we were learning Instant Pot. And
Oh,
that was,
yeah.
that was enough for me without trying to cook a recipe. So but I think with you, I could probably do it along with you. I probably could.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that-
I like to have
would be fun.
everything chopped up and ready to go. So like, it sounds like you saw my Pampered Chef video or
Yes,
Facebook Live. So I had
Yeah.
everything all chopped up and ready before I did that, because I didn't, you know,
yeah, I would have to do that. If I was
Yeah.
gonna cook along with somebody, I'd have to have the recipe and I'd have to have, oh yeah, I have mint in here too. Mint.
oh, nice.
I don't have any fresh dill, so I'm gonna put some dried dill in because I
Okay.
ran out. Yeah, that will be fun.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, if at any point in time, anybody, whether you're here listening to it live or you want to, or you're listening to the replay, if you want some help, or you just want that person in while you're making food to ask questions, planning which foods to make, or how to make them, you know, meal prep, meal planning, menu planning. I'm really big, like I said, on being prepared, because it just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. Well, my big challenge is I always want to do too many things. And I'm really working on that. I'm doing a lot better. But I still, that's why today I did not go to farmer's market, because I want to use all the things I have before I go shopping again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why doing a soup like this is really good. So I'm using a fennel bulb. Here's the frondy part.
Yes.
And you can juice that. I know when I first said I was gonna use this, and my husband's like, fennel? I mean, I go to the store and they pulled it up and they're like, what is this? It's like fennel. And so I say, well, it has kind of an anise, licoricey type taste. He's like, oh yeah. And he was really surprised. It's a little like using a potato or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
again, it's a superfood for me, and it's really good for your digestion.
Yeah, you said a lot of good things, didn't you, on the antibiotic show? Did you talk about it?
Yes, I certainly did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, Nick has certainly learned about what is this vegetable, what is that vegetable, and he'll eat them. He'll eat things.
Yeah. Yeah, he's with you. He's got to be adventurous.
Yep. I mean, he eats all this stuff. He says, "Oh, you never give me anything the same anytime. I never know what I'm going to get. It's always a surprise." But he eats it.
Good. Do you
Yeah.
ever cook any of the authentic Armenian dishes for him?
Well, I used to. I did a bunch of them, and then I stopped because we can just go buy a lot of it.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, not all of it, but we have a lot of Turkish restaurants around.
Oh, well, Turkish and Armenian are not always the
They're
same.
they're kind of different.
Well, yeah.
That's true, but he grew up on, I would say, more Turkish because he's Armenian and he lived in Turkey.
Okay.
So, or else they had both, but it's just
Yep.
I'm doing so many other things that it's easier for him to just go buy it.
Yep, I hear ya.
Because that food does take a long time. There's one that I really liked a lot, and starts with an I. It's a casserole kind of thing with peppers and tomatoes, and oh God, I just love it. I did make it a couple times, but
They
then
use
since
a
I
lot
went-
of peppers and onions and tomatoes and garlic.
yeah,
My favorite is lahmacun. Which
yeah.
is-
Have you made it so it's gluten free? So I don't think I've done that gluten free.
I have not.
Yeah, I have made it. Let's see, I must have made it gluten free then, because
You can. I've got recipes
you
for
know
it.
what? I must have, because I would never be doing the gluten. Yeah, I made it a few times. It's good. Oh yeah, he really
Oh,
liked it. I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah, and for those who are wondering what the heck are we talking about, lahmacun is an Armenian dish that resembles a little mini pizza, kind of. It's a cross
Exactly,
between a pizza and a taco. And so you make this soft dough, and then you make a preparation. At least this is how I was brought up. It's a combination of ground beef and ground lamb and onions and garlic and tomatoes and peppers. And so you kind of cook that all up and you put it on this crust, this dough, and then you bake them. And when they're done, then we would make like a lettuce, tomato, cucumber salad with some oil vinegar dressing and wrap it up in it. And it's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Oh,
Yes.
I forgot about it. Yeah, I really like it. Well, that's one that he doesn't get and I don't get because of gluten in the restaurant.
Yep. Well, I eat it so seldom that, it's like a once a year thing at Christmas. And I think that also, again, goes back to what we were talking about earlier about being receptive to the food and the emotional piece, being conscious. And so, as I eat this, and so I don't eat a lot of it, but I'm just conscious that what I'm really eating is, and consuming and absorbing, are my memories of making this. It was like we would get together, all the women, and we would, like, one day we would go out and we'd pick grape leaves, and then we'd go back and just, like, the whole weekend was spent cooking. And
Oh,
and-
that sounds fun.
it was great fun. It was great fun.
Yeah, I used to do that with other women too, but not now. One of Nick's relatives makes lahmacun with tortilla shells, tortilla.
Yep,
So that's a good, easy way.
yep. Or a pita bread.
What'd you say?
Can you use pita bread?
Oh, no, because that's gluten.
Oh, you can make gluten-free pita.
Yeah, I guess you could.
So I'm gonna use a couple of carrots here.
I'll have to look up that recipe again and see what I did and make it sometime.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Oh,
Because this is where food feeds our body, but it feeds our soul, our emotions, our energy. And when we understand that, it's like it almost becomes okay. Because you're having that conversation with yourself about, why am I eating this? You know, so like Judy might have dishes from growing up in Tennessee that she's not maybe having out there in California. And, you know, and it's like, this is my childhood and I felt good. And so that's why sometimes our bodies do well with certain ingredients because of that.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah, I really do, what we grew up on.
Yeah. And how we approach it. You know, again, Dr. Eda Marie was always like, take that moment to pause and give thanks. You know,
Yeah.
that's why so many cultures and religious communities, you know, they had that the grace before meal. It's that
Yeah,
moment to stop
yes.
and go, oh, thank you for this.
Yes.
And rather than just sitting at your desk and shoveling it in, then going, oh wait, did I eat? I won't
You're
say
right.
I've done that.
But you're right that there are things from childhood that, but you know, I'm pretty good about if I'm craving something, finding a way to make it
Yeah, that's great.
or get it.
Or get it. Yeah, perfect. It's just having that acknowledgement where the emotion comes from to want that particular dish. Okay, I'm gonna put a bay leaf in here. I should get a bay leaf tree. Or bush, a plant, whatever you want to call it. Oh, thyme. You have time for thyme? I can't tell you how many times I have organized my spice cabinet here. And it never stays. Nobody else but me, really. So I know it's me that's doing it. It's here. I just used it the other day. So I'm gonna put about a tablespoon of thyme in there. And and then if you make your own vegetable broth, you can use that to make your own. If you've never made your own vegetable broth, you can take things like, you know, the fennel prawns or the chives, the skin and stuff from the onions, the ends of carrots or celery or whatever it is that you're chopping up, instead of throwing them away. You can compost them, but they also make a really nice broth. So I'll take those and I'll put them in the freezer until I'm ready to use it. And then I'll just put it in a pot with about, I don't know, depends upon how much I have left over. And I just kind of cover it. So there's maybe a ½ inch of water over it. And then I just kind of cook it down, much like you would make a bone broth or something. And then you just strain out the vegetables, and I put mine in mason jars and they're in the refrigerator. So you have that. Now, you haven't done that, you can go and buy vegetable stock. This happens to be Wild Harvest, so it's supposed to be good. I wasn't there when they made it, so it's hard to say. And this is a 32-ounce box, and then I just pour it in. You can use chicken stock, chicken broth, beef broth, stock, whatever. I just wanted to use vegetable stock for this one. And then after this is all ready, then what I'm gonna do is chop up some kale, and because I'm gonna let this cook, I don't know, probably about 20 minutes. Yeah, and then when it all looks cooked, so the vegetables are tender, not mushy, then I'll chop up the kale and I'll put that in right at the very end. So it just, again, gets kind of a bright green, a little wilty, and then it's done. So anyway, let me check on this. So I've got about 10, 12 minutes left on the frittata. I'll just take it out for a moment so you can take a look and see what it might actually be done. Done. See if you can see that. Can you see that? Yes? Do I get it?
Yeah, a little bit of glare on it, but yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I'll put it down here. And there, that better?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. There you go. So you can see it's a little brown around the edges.
That's beautiful, Lynn.
Yeah. It's so when I shake it, see, it doesn't get all shaky. So I think it's done. Yay, thanks for being here. So I checked it before the timer went off. Anyway, so that's it. Any questions? Okay.
Good.
So I hope this gave you some ideas. Reach out if you have any questions. Like I said, if you want to set up some time because you just want to have somebody there to help while you're doing cooking, just like on a one-on-one basis, let me know. And I kind of like that idea, Sandy, that next time I'll provide recipes, but it's a good time for everybody just to be in the kitchen to do whatever. Maybe you want to make something different and you can do that. So maybe Sandy, you could share what you were doing with your greens on that Facebook event page for this call.
Well, I could put the 2 recipes and then, I mean, I just am making it up. I don't even remember all that I
That's
did.
all right. Show the picture. It's all right. Just show a
Yeah.
picture of what you did. You know, Judy, your
Yeah.
soup, same thing.
Yeah, right.
Anything you guys make, feel free to post. You know, this time you can do it on the event page. Otherwise, you can do it on the Sage Wisdom Facebook page itself. Because that's what we're all about, supporting each other.
Okay, tell me again. I know the Facebook page. So
there's
the
the
event,
Sage
the only
Wisdom
reason I
Facebook-
answered, the only reason I answered you on what you're saying is the event page is because you wrote, you know, that thing about the link and then I wrote you. Well, how do I get on the event page?
So here, hold on a second. Sure, here we go. I will share my screen here.
Okay, so
Okay.
here is Facebook. And there's a couple ways. You can go here to events over here on the left side as you
Oh, okay.
right there.
Oh,
Or
okay.
you could go to the Sage Wisdom Facebook page and
Oh, so this is
in-
different than feeding your soul.
well, this is the Sage Wisdom Facebook page, which is part of the Feeding Your Health group. But see over here, it says upcoming events on the right side. Oops, well, now you won't see it because there. So do you see that on the right side here?
Oh, okay. Upcoming events, yeah.
Yep. So that's another way that
Okay.
you,
Well, I'll figure it out then. You prefer it on the events page than on
well,
the
just this
Facebook?
time.
Facebook.
Yeah,
Is the
because
Facebook okay?
this is part of Facebook.
The Facebook page would be easier for me.
Well, whatever works.
Okay, thanks.
'Cause this is where you had started typing. I do not see a link for the recipes. And
Oh.
so,
I
That's-
didn't even know I was on an event page. Okay.
so good. So
Okay.
anyway, that's here, and I'm going to show you something real quick. So I was talking about my daughter, and I see she posted pictures. So that's my daughter, and that's my grandson.
Oh,
More
cute.
concerned about
Now,
the,
which daughter is this?
this is my oldest daughter.
Oh, that's
So
your oldest daughter?
yeah, so this is the thing. When growing up, Brianna was a daughter that did not want to get up. Did not want to get up. You know, I was like, okay, honey, you're gonna have to make sure you have a job. You can start like at 10 in the morning or something. She now gets up like at 5:30 in the morning, goes and works out and trains and everything. Over the last year and a half or so, she's also lost about 50 pounds. Because she
Wow.
watching, so her body needs more protein. It's like protein, fat, and carbs. And so yeah, she looks great. She looks great. Let's see if I can. I don't know who this woman is, but that's my daughter. That's her thing, her medallion that she got for running. And let's see, do you have any?
You don't know who the other one is here.
I know. I don't know who that other one was.
I think I've met her.
Yes, you have. And this is my third daughter. She
Okay.
she actually lives in this town. So, and that was her son that you saw.
And
in the other-
what about your youngest daughter that was living with you? That
So-
was a dancer.
Yeah, so she lives in Iowa City now.
Okay, she's going to school there.
She's in college now. She works
Okay.
at
Okay.
the UPS retail store.
Good.
So, yeah,
Wow.
so they keep me busy.
Yeah.
Anyway. So like I said, if you have any questions or there's anything that comes up as you're making your own creation, feel free to reach out, and anything I can do to help, let me know.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Thank
Was
you,
fun.
everybody.
Thank you.
It's fun with everybody.
Yeah. There's Judy.
There I am.
Here's Judy. Yeah.
There I am.
Good to see your lovely faces.
Yeah.
Miss you guys. Did you get your hair cut, Sandy?
I did.
I like it. Do you
It's-
like
I've
it?
been- Oh, I love it. Nick every day tells me how much he likes it. It's a really good haircut.
Yeah,
It's a really good haircut.
yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there is, again, anything I can do to help, you can message me on Facebook. You can email me at lynn@feedingyourhealth.com. Whatever works for you.
Well, enjoy all your food, and I bet your husband will eat it.
That's why I made these, because I've made these already, and these I know he will eat.
Okay, okay, good, good.
I've been husband approved.
That's great. Okay, we'll see you later.
All right. Take care. Enjoy the
Bye.
rest of your weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.